All right, guys, well, I'm back today with another high value and budget red dot offering, and this particular one is from SIG SAUER, sent to the channel by Optics Planet. This is the Romeo MSR Gen 2, and as soon as I saw this released in both the red dot version and the green dot version, I knew I had to get my hands on it, and I reached out to my guys at Optics Planet, and they were nice enough to send this out to the channel for me to review for my unbiased opinion. The other cool thing about Optics Planet is they have the code 704TAC or 704TAC for 7% off your Optics Planet order. And I also have some other opportunities over on the campsite pages and ways to save. That info will be in the description below on that campsite page, so definitely check it out. Also, before we get too far into the review of this high value and budget red dot, I want to give a huge shout out to the biggest ammo sponsor of the channel, AAC. These guys have 5.56, now steel case 7.62x39, 308 for some of the cheapest prices I've seen it, even 45 long colt. My favorites of AAC will also be over on the campsite page, and that will be in the description below, but let's dig right in. Now, this optic has a lot of competitors on the market in its price category, so we are going to break down the price of this optic, some things I love about this optic, and some things I wish SIG would update, even though this is the brand new version. We're going to be digging into all the weeds and subtle nuances of purchasing an optic for right around the $130 mark. Now, these generally sell for $170 to $180 MSRP, but Optics Planet has both the green and red on sale for as low as $135. When you have my discount code, the price drops below $130, making them a great value for money considering what you get in the box, the optic and the mount, and all the tools you need. One of the first things I noticed is a lot more robust and solid looking than the original MSR that had the skeletonized frame. It had the knob on the top that seemed just a little bit unprotected. This one really hits home with the protected turrets right here. You can see they are completely protected. They're flush fitting turrets and their IPX7 waterproof rating. Their toolless adjustment using the back of a shell casing, and the rotary knob is now moved from the top to the side, and it really blends in nicely. There's no snag points, no sharp edges, and they ditched the skeletonized mount. Thank goodness. When I'm looking for high value and budget red dots, I want performance. I don't care about fancy extra milling in the mounts or different cuts in the mounts. I just want a solid optic, and you're not saving that much weight. On this entire setup, I skeletonized the mount, and as I say that, I have a skeletonized grip on here, but you get the picture. And I'm glad that they've done that with this optic. I love the turrets. I love the way it's formed. I love the way the feature set is. Now, the only way we can prove this is durable is to take it down to the range and do a durability test. I'm mumbling my words here, but we will be doing the water bottle test on this optic. And if you're unfamiliar, we're just going to be smacking it with a full bottle of water and applying G-forces. We've broken many optics this way, so it'll be a good test to see if it can hold up. So you don't want to miss that. Watch the entire video. The glass on this is crystal clear. They killed it. The emitter for that dot stays completely buried out of the way so it doesn't obscure your view. Looking down the optic, it's very clean and crisp, and the 2 MOA dot, both in green and red, are great. And this gets plenty bright for every single lighting condition, and it has night vision settings. So check, 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 check across the board. This is killing it. On paper, it's truly competing with some top tier red dots. One thing it lacks though is shake awake or MOTAC technology, motion activated technology. So that means if you leave it on, it stays on. If you turn it off, it stays off. At this point, we should be putting MOTAC in everything. I know this is kind of their entry-level optic, and I just reviewed another SIG SAUER Romeo product that was freaking killing it with the AAA battery inside, and that was right at about 180 to 200 depending on the sales, and that did have MOTAC. And I know this is their entry-level option, so you can spend a little bit more to get it, but I've seen other optics similar to this price point, even they own SIG SAUER Romeo 5, have MOTAC in at this price now. That's a long-standing optic on the market, so prices have come down dramatically. But again, SIG is competing with itself when it's releasing this MSR. The MOTAC, though, is not that big of a deal. I like to keep it on like a mid setting, and it's got up to 35,000 hour battery life, so not a big deal. I just leave mine permanently on. As soon as I put this on, I turned it on to a mid setting, which is perfect for inside your home for personal defense. And if you start to need it outside, you just turn it up a little bit. When you get back in, you can turn it down. So not that big of a deal, but something to mention. And I'm maybe in a little bit nitpicky, but again, we are competing with SIG's own product, the Romeo 5, which has that. Now, this has clear glass in the Romeo 5, in my opinion. It seems like it's a little bit more well constructed than the Romeo 5, but we will see when we get down to the range and do that water bottle test. And honestly, that's about the last thing we're going to do before we come back and summarize. So let's take it down there and see how it performs. Now it's time for the water bottle test, where we beat the optic with a full bottle of water. This applies shock and G-forces to the optic to see if it breaks. We've broken a lot of mounts and optics where they've shifted completely off paper. So we do the test, and anything smaller than the size of my hand, the group after the test, is a pass. Anything smaller than the size of my fist is an absolute pass. I've had $400 and $500 optics break, but I've also had $20 optics survive. So it's a very good indicator of what's good and what's not good when it comes to actual shock and impact. Let's fire 3 shots on camera to confirm 0. Then we'll beat it up and see if it shifts. So here's our first 3 shots. Now we will continue to take shots at this target as we beat it up to see if it shifts 0. Here we go. I also going to give another shout out to AAC Ammo for providing the ammo. We've been shooting a lot today on different platforms like the Steyr AUG, as well as this guy. Oh, right here. This is completely unloaded. So we've beat it up. Let's take some shots with it. Let's keep beating it up. Get it on the top, the sides. See if we lose 0 or the mount walks loose. Oh man, there we go. Final beatdown. We're not going to cut it any slack. All right, guys, so definitely a pass. Again, anything smaller than the size of my hand is a pass. Anything smaller than the size of my fist is a complete pass, and that's about 2/3 right there. So that is definitely an absolutely great group. Also, I'm shooting into the sun, not blaming any spread on that, but man, that optic held up perfectly fine. Again, especially for the price of an entry-level SIG red dot. So we are back from the range, and it absolutely held up great. No issues whatsoever with it shifting 0. It got plenty bright, even shooting into the sun. No issues there. The glass was ultra clear, protected turrets. Overall, it's a solid optic. I'm a huge fan of this optic, and I can highly recommend it. Again, the SIG Romeo MSR Gen 2 from Optics Planet that they sent over. Again, the only thing I would like to see in this optic, and my biggest complaint, is it does not have MOTAC. If for some reason SIG sees this video, I'd love to see something like MOTAC in every single newly released optic in the future, and because I just feel like that's a good option, especially when you can set your brightness with the rotary dial, have everything kind of dialed in, and then it kind of goes into sleep and turns back on. But maybe it's unnecessary because the battery life is so long. We'll just leave it on, and I'm going to leave this one on, and I'll update you guys in the future because this is definitely a staple of the channel. I actually have 2 samples, one that Optics Planet sent out and one that I purchased myself. I put that on top of the STEYR AUG, and it's been running great over there. So 2 samples, both are working good. This one survived the water bottle beatdown. Definitely 2 thumbs up. Stay tuned for more videos and subscribe to the channel if you like content like this. And if you like the water bottle test, leave those comments in the description below. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.